complete ass.
Well, do me a favor. I actually have a Bluetooth thing in my ear because
Okay.
headphones made my face like 10 times bigger than it already is. And I was like, this cannot happen. So,
We're not having that.
no, I had to have some slimming effect. So I went with the earpiece. Uh, hey, Dave, what's up, man? Hey, if this doesn't record, just remember what we talked about and we'll do it
Oh
again.
yeah, we'll do it all over again.
Yeah. Just this is actually the third take. Remember, I couldn't
Right.
get this.
Okay.
done
So
right.
what we talked about last time
That's
was
right. You're wanting to be a veterinarian
right.
because you love working with children,
I
and
like that,
that's
and
wonder. Yes.
I really wanted to be a stunt man in adult movies, but that didn't work
Oh,
out. I, you know,
you were the stunt double. It's all right.
that
The
or
only job they offered me was something called fluffer. I have no idea what that
well,
is. So,
he was that or a rodeo clown.
yeah,
That didn't work out either.
that's nice.
How do you
Hey,
do
so
that? How do people get into that anyway?
I don't know. I think somebody pushes you into the rodeo ring, and then you
So,
run, and they laugh at you, and it's like, hey, you gotta, you're gonna be good in this business. So,
I mean, I just wonder what the insurance would be like on something like that.
oh no. So, hey, I appreciate you taking the time and letting me interview you. And I know we saw each other the other day, and you started talking to me. I was like, no,
No, don't
hold
talk
on to
about
that
any of
good
that.
stuff.
So
Don't
just
tell me.
keep all
Yeah,
that for the show. And I don't remember one. I don't even remember
that's
where
right.
we were at.
No,
Like I
no.
don't even
So
know where I
we're
park my car when I come out of the
yeah.
PX anymore.
That's because you're getting older. So.
Dude, not getting. I'm there.
Mm. So most people know you. Of course, you're Dave Ralston. I've called you Dave or David over the years, and it doesn't matter what you tell me to call you. Every time I see an advertisement, it's different. Like right now, it
Man,
says
I don't
David
know.
R,
I'm
and
just
sometimes it's
glad
Dave.
they keep calling me something, you know.
Yeah,
That means we're still
you're
going.
glad you're getting the phone call. That's what you're
Hey,
glad.
they can call me whatever they want as long as they keep calling. So
We've known each other. I got on the island in '98, and were you already playing at that time?
yeah, man. So it's been what
We've known
22
each other.
years or something like
Yeah.
that. 20 over
Uh,
20 years, man.
What's cool is even if we weren't playing at the same event, sometimes we'll be at events and you'll just show up. Like remember Beach House 69 and Dave Ralston shows up. Hey, you want here, grab my guitar, play a
Hey,
song or two.
so that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was at a house over by Torrey Station, right?
That was Major Ball's house party and we were playing inside and you showed up and I
Dude,
handed you
let me
my
tell you
guitar
something.
and we
I'm
were
glad you
jamming.
reminded me of that because I still tell people that story because, you know, I hadn't been playing that long and people were like, hey, come over to this party. And so we go in there and it was like being in a movie, you know, you just walk in and you just give me your guitar. As soon as I walk
Yeah.
in, we start playing and I play a little bit. I give the guitar back to you and somebody goes, hey, let's go outside. So you go down this little super dangerous little path in the middle of the
Yeah.
night. You go
That's
down
right.
to this beach and there's everyone down there's naked.
Oh, that's right. Bob Ball is really hairy, and I heard he was naked down there.
Well, and man, I was like, man, this is like rock and roll. This is like and the house was like something you'd see on TV anyway. Like it was like a lifestyles of the rich and famous kind of place. That place was
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
yeah, it was pretty cool. We were on the roof, and the cops got called, so we went down and we set up in the tatami room. And this was right after Green Day canceled. So I just told the neighbors it was Green Day. So that was it.
Dude, I mean, and I'll never forget because it was a little bit cooler, right? And I saw this dude come walking out of the water. I'm like, man, you got to do a pre-show rub before you come out, man. You can't be rolling out here
Oh
like
my
that.
God. Oh my God. Can't believe you. I totally forgot about everyone was naked on the beach
That was
afterwards. So,
awesome, dude. That was,
yeah.
I'll never, yeah. Anyway,
Crazy stuff happens. Hey, I wanted to just go back a little bit, and we've been friends for a long time, and I appreciate you let us play with you a couple times. And then other than that, I've always played before you at Peaceful Love anytime I've ever played. In fact, I've played before everybody at Peaceful Love. So
well, I've
usually the
only played
first
it a
band
couple
or second
times, I think
band.
once or twice. So,
Well,
uh,
in 2000 you played, and Clint played before you. Uh, the Mongol 800 was the fourth band that day. That was
yeah,
probably
that
the
shows you what kind
last
of lineup
time
they
they
got.
played before anybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, so I don't know if you remember this, but, dude, I don't remember what year it was, but it was like noon or some shit, right? We had to play that thing, and it was like 8,000 degrees Kelvin. Do you remember that? And I remember just looking at these pictures of my face, and it was like the color of this chair. I
It's
was just
pretty
like,
hot.
oh man, I'm
For
trying to,
some
you're trying to be
reason,
cool.
there's no wind that goes down into the
None.
Peaceful Love bullfighting rink. And if anybody's hearing us say bullfighting, it's not like a matador. It's bulls push each other around in a ring. It's Okinawan style. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
that's where Peaceful Love is. Yeah.
and it smelled like
Well,
sweat and
yeah.
booze and bullshit.
Yes.
Like all this is,
Yeah.
you get that, and it was so hot. But I don't remember what year
Yeah.
that was. But
Mm.
man, what a cool thing
Yeah.
to do, though.
Yeah. Peaceful Love is pretty fun. Hey, I was going to ask you, I never really talked about this before. Where are you from? What's your hometown in the States?
Well, I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Oh,
and
wow.
I moved to Indiana when I was like 2 years old. So I grew up in Kokomo, Indiana, and what from there I
Indiana's
went to
pretty long.
yeah.
We're about.
So well, I'm right in the center, right exactly
Okay.
right 45 minutes or an hour north of Indianapolis, and then moved to Terre Haute, went to school at Indiana State, and then from there moved here, and I've only lived in 3 places my whole life. So I've been
Wow.
here like over half my life now.
Oh. Well, that's cool. You know, my dad was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and
Okay.
I got most of my relatives actually live up in the Upper Peninsula. If you just drive north of Wisconsin or Milwaukee, there, eventually you get into the UP, Escanaba, and I got some other relatives in Michigan, but I was born out on the West Coast, Oregon. That's why I talk so slow and monotone. And if you fall asleep during this interview, I don't mind. You know, it's okay.
It
But that's
relaxes me.
cool. So yeah, that like, how old were you when you moved to Indiana?
Just 2 years old, man. So I
Oh,
was
okay.
just,
So,
that's all I've ever really known.
but Indiana, I mean, you know, if you want to talk about Americana, I mean
Oh man,
that's
that's
pretty much
John
little
Cougar
pink houses,
Mellencamp, and
right?
oh yeah. And
Right.
what's funny is like growing up there, everybody liked that stuff. So I was like, I can't like that, you know. So I didn't really get into it when I was living there too much until I got here, and I was like, you start listening to it, you're like, I kind of miss all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then
Uh,
started doing other things, and started really kind of getting into that kind of music once I got over here.
but when you were in up through high school, like when did you actually get involved in music? Were you instantly handed a guitar at 5 years
Oh,
old and you became the
dude,
prodigy, or?
it's embarrassing because I'm supposed to tell you this story about how, yeah, when I was I was taking baths down in muddy waters and all this stuff. I, I I played drums, right? I was a drummer from when I was a little kid till like I was, went to college, and you can't play drums in college; it's too damn loud, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't even very good at it. I was like, okay. And then when I went to college, I started playing guitar, and somebody gave me a guitar or whatever. I started messing with it, and then I really didn't start playing until I got here, until like when you got here. So I
Oh,
really
wow.
started getting serious, tried to get
What
serious
was
about
your
liking it.
so none of your family members were like musicians, or? Oh.
See, that sucks. I don't got a good story about,
No, no,
how I,
no. Trust me. There's plenty of other good stuff to talk about. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, so
oh, there you go.
Jehovah, he's a jealous God. I don't know if you know the Old Testament. It's scary as fuck. So, but so I mean, I grew up with singing songs in church from house to house and door to door we go, and being chased away from houses. But I don't think that's how the words go. But so yeah, I mean, not until I became a teenager did they kick all of us out, and I actually started playing music. I was the first kid, 8 kids in the family. I think I was the first kid to even play any musical instrument. So
Right.
I don't have the muddy waters story either. But
Yeah.
so you, after you went to college and you're dabbling in the guitar, what was the first kind of genre you were playing with?
Oh man. Well, I always like the heavy stuff, man. I like the stuff you guys are
Oh yeah.
playing. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Like I
Wait.
like,
Chuck
dude, I
was half
liked,
of punk.
I like Danzig. I like that kind
What?
of stuff. And oh yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that shit. That I
Hmm.
like the heavy stuff. And I remember being in college, like I'd seen Metallica and AC/DC and all that stuff when I was growing up. And then
Mhm.
my friend took me. I'll never forget. He took me to I think it's called the Arlington Theater in Indianapolis, I think. But I was in college, and he's like, this dude was like serious. He's like, man, you've never even been to a show. I'm like, dude, I've been to Market Square Arena. He's like, no, man, I'm gonna take you to this. So we go to the Arlington Theater. I think it was an old like bowling alley or movie theater or something. And we go in there, and there's probably, I don't know, 150 people in there. And it was the Cowboys from Hell Pantera tour. It was
Holy
them. And
crap.
I had no idea who they were. And I
Oh,
just
wow.
instantly just shit myself. I was just like,
Oh my God.
yeah. And it was because, man, those guys just blew
Oh, yeah,
everybody out of the
Pantera.
water anyway.
Do you
And
remember
it's,
Noisy as Hell?
mm,
So back in those Hideaway days, 99, 2000, Noisy used to play there, and Hero, that's really, they were a Pantera tribute band almost. And then Hero, he always had the dime bag guitar,
oh,
and
yeah.
it was so much fun because, not a lot of bands were just, you know, shredding like
Dude,
dime
yeah.
and singing like Phil. So that's pretty cool. So after college, uh, did you join the military?
No,
When did
man,
you come out to Okinawa?
I was first Civ Div my whole life. So I came over here just to take a vacation.
Well,
And
who
got
takes a
married.
vacation in
I
Okinawa?
know, man, it's
Somebody had to
crazy.
tell you about it,
I
right?
know, and I never left. So I always tell people it's a witness protection program, for
Oh,
something. So they just, but yeah, man, it's. And then when I got here is when I really started playing music because I went to Tobacco Road. I don't know if you remember that place. It was a little tiny little place where anybody could get up and
oh,
jam there.
I
And so
can't remember.
there's all these merchant marines from like Jamaica and Israel, weird stuff. Like all these different musicians would just show up there. So I was just like a sponge, just kind of trying to
What
play
year was
drums but
that,
taking it
Dave?
all in. What's that?
What year was that?
Oh man, that was probably 94,
Okay.
95, stuff like. And
So
because I spent a lot of time
you
in
got
there.
a civil service job and came out here in 94, 95?
I never even had a job, dude. I came over here with nothing.
You are
So I was,
nuts.
yeah, for like a year, I was trying
Were
to
you chasing a
just,
girl? I mean, who just did you throw a dart at a map?
pretty much, yeah, man. That's where they sent me, this witness protection thing. Said,
Okay.
we're going to take
All
you
right,
over
that's
here.
your story. You're sticking with that story. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my kids over here and everything. So my kids grew up here. I thought, you know what? This is a pretty safe place to be.
It's
That's why you
very
keep
safe.
coming back,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't get voted off the island again and I get to just stay here and get older. But so you were, by the time 94, you were over here and you're learning to cut heads a little bit, but was the genre, the blues genre, was that really attractive to you?
And
Or did you just
well,
decide to invest into that?
when I just remember when I heard, I started kind of researching stuff, and I liked kind of blues rock, the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. But then I
Oh
started
yeah.
listening to other things, like the Allman Brothers and stuff like that. And so I read a couple of their books, and they would talk about, who their influences were. So then I started kind of going even further back, and that's when that stuff really kind of hit me. I was like, man, this is like real. This is, and I thought, I can't really do that, like them, but I can do something, and that's what, I don't know if that makes any sense. That's what kind of
Yeah. So
inspired me to,
you were covering some songs that inspired you.
yeah.
When did you actually look down at your hands and go, "Hey, I'm not terrible at this," because you're pretty fucking good guitar player.
Well,
So when did
the
that
thing,
happen?
man, I don't even know what year that was. Maybe it's like 97 or
Hmm.
so. And somebody had asked me to play with them, and I was just playing nothing but slide guitar, right? And nobody really
Yeah.
plays slide guitar. And I remember this
Yeah.
guy came
Dwayne
up to me.
Allman.
Yeah.
It's
So
Dwayne Allman. Was he the slide guitarist of
yeah,
choice?
I was listening to a lot
And
of that,
he
and
died by playing slide guitar. So it's a dangerous profession. But
there's a lot of dead slide
yes.
guitarists.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, man, it was just, I just figured out that, there's not a whole lot of people that do it. So I really wanted to be good at that. And so I just kind of locked myself in in the basement and just like figured out how to do that, and then
Nice.
from there, things started really opening up, and just being lucky in the right place at the right time kind of thing.
Yeah, by the time I got here in '98, first band, of course, was Clay Sun Union
Oh
that I
yeah.
saw at Fuji's. Uh, and then I think it was, um, Cry Wolf, something like that. And then I saw you play, and by that time it was like summer of '98 or whatever. And I mean, you were already established, and I mean, you were already playing pretty big events. I think you played a Tory Friendship Fest before Rocktoberfest. I think
Could have
Tory
been.
Friendship Fest. Yeah, I think you played it there, so I'd seen you there. But
Dude, talk about rock stars. Dude, Clay's son was like a rock. Those guys were rock and roll superstars. I just remember going down there and going, holy crap. Because I never even really
yeah,
been down to Gate 2 before. I didn't really
they
hang
had
out down
that.
there.
They had that alternative-ish genre down pat, man. You
Well, and
know,
they had and the best story that I have about them is like I listened to their album and I was like, holy crap, this thing sounds awesome. They bought all their stuff from like musicians' friends
I
and
heard
recorded
that
it and it
story,
sent it
right?
all back. I love that
Right,
shit.
right.
I didn't, that's
That's
inspired me. I do that all the time.
maybe that's not a true story. Maybe that's a
Well,
legend.
but you know what? I hope it's true. And the other
Yeah, me
thing is
too.
the I can't remember this is terrible. I can't remember his name, but the one I think it's a singer came to see us in Indiana.
John.
Yeah, he came down with his wife from Chicago to see us years ago when we played in Indiana. It was really cool because
Wow,
dude,
that's
what
cool.
a great guy. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
awesome. I'm like, hey, yeah, dude, I remember
I
you
mean,
guys.
yeah, but I mean, they were awesome here. But how do you take that and go, let's move to Nashville where you sneeze and you sneezed on a
Oh,
musician? It's
well,
got to be hard, right?
yeah, it's
Got to be
but I
hard.
think we just had this conversation the other day is that, like you kind of got to see how good you are too. When
Yeah,
you go
you're
down
right.
there, you'll find out what you're made of
Yeah.
because nobody makes any money there and everyone is awesome. So you just kind of so I just go there to record and hire the greatest musicians in the world because they're all there. But if I was living there, I'd be like the 78th worst guitar player in the town. So
Oh my God.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I had been to Nashville one time. I was this last stint that I went back to the States, and I just was on Broad Street, or is it Broadway?
Broadway,
Was
yeah.
it? It was like, oh my God, it was true. I was being pushed around, walking down the street by people rolling amps down the street, and then not even going in the front door because all the windows are off, and people are handing gear through the windows because it's all open during the summertime. There, I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
You know,
3-story high bars. Every single story has a
and
band.
every guy is awesome. Another real quick, I was playing with the greatest piano player. His name's Mark T. Jordan. He's played on everything, like you name it. He played the Carpenters and freaking Van Morrison and Sammy Hagar. Everyone. He's older guy.
Wow.
We're getting ready to hit the red button for this in the session. We're all ready. He's like, I got a phone call. My wife just collapsed. I'm like, holy shit, and so
Oh
so
wow.
it was terrible. So he leaves and the drummer's like, he goes, hey, and I don't really know these guys, I just, and he goes, hey man, he goes, want me to call somebody? I'm like, well, if you can, dude, there's a guy there in 15 minutes. It was freaking awesome. If you hear my newest album, he's on every song on there.
15
So
minutes.
I'm not even shitting you. The guy, they're just everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I like your style of playing. I know you use your fingers, you can chicken pick, but your slide sounds really good. I'm one of those guys that I told Doug this, or my buddy John, that I was raised by stoners, so I can only down pick really fast. But you guys, I mean, you can chicken pick um and you play slide, and you definitely got a hold of your genre there. So I was impressed. And several times, I mean, we knew who to get. We got Dave Ralston for Rocktoberfest several times, and that was a lot of fun.
Man,
I was
that was
wondering,
the coolest event. That was,
it was
and
fun, right?
yeah. I don't know if we could ever like replicate that again, but it was just like,
Mm.
everybody there was awesome. Everyone there was friends, and it was cool. And then the other thing that was cool is we all got to hang out before and after, which normally
Yeah,
at festivals, we can't because it's like,
no,
okay, get out.
that's
And
right. Having
that
those
was
beach cabins was
yeah, and it was
just
just so much
amazing. Right? You
fun.
get stay the night, right? And we
Yeah,
tried not to put you in the wrong cabin. I remember. I think my buddy Dave was pretty drunk once. He was going, you were like, hey, thanks.
yeah.
Anyways,
It was better when we got our own cabin at the next time,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but dude, it was like you and Jason. I mean, you guys are great anyway. And if people don't like you guys, that's on them. That's not on you, right? They're
Oh,
just like,
why
you
have you
guys are
heard
awesome all the
something?
time.
What have you heard? Is there news? What's the word on the street? Give it to me
Well, the
straight.
word on the street is that you're awesome. And me and Clint were
Uh,
talking about you too. Clint just did
yeah,
this show with you, and we're just
yeah,
talking about how cool you are always. So
nice.
the
Thank you.
world had more people like you, it'd be a better place, my
Oh,
friend.
I appreciate. Yeah, but then I wouldn't be special. So I'm trying to be special. If I was just normal, my wife
That
would
wouldn't
say
be any fun.
"futsu." That means normal. Futsu. But do you remember playing at Rocktoberfest? I think we were talking to you about playing during the Star Spangled Banner. Playing something during the
Oh,
anthem.
during the
No, during
oh
the
during
fireworks.
the fireworks. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, I remember that.
totally sober. Can't even say fireworks. Sorry,
Thanks, mom
but
and dad.
yeah, thanks. Mom dropped me on my head a couple
That's right.
times. Yeah, do you remember that?
Oh, I totally remember that,
That was awesome. That
dude.
was so good.
It was just one of those things. We've had a chance to do that a couple times where they're like, here, play something, and so like the fireworks are going, you're just playing. Everybody's like, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
the ultimate thing when you're a little kid.
You knew that we knew what we were doing when we set you up with that time slot, right? Right at dusk. And so you didn't have to wait until all your band was like trashed and play
Right,
last, you
right.
know,
But dude,
that
you
was
guys,
the prime
the cool
spot.
thing about that too is that, the way you guys had it set up was, I think Jet always played last.
Yeah.
And it was just awesome because I would go out there and we were like, yes, they're
Yeah.
playing
Right.
Blackfoot. Yes, they're playing some other song that nobody knows, but
What's
we
cool
knew it.
was
You know what I mean?
at Peaceful Love, Murasaki always played last,
Yeah.
and we're like, no, we're Jet fans. So Jet, have Jet come out there. They gave you the rock stars, and
Oh man,
you remember Kochan? Kochan had that that one year. She was really young. I think she was like 21 or something like that. The girl he was
I don't
dating.
know. I don't know about that, but
Oh
didn't
my
he
gosh.
recently? Are you talking about the drummer, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, didn't he recently pass, right?
yeah. Well, a few years back.
A few
Yeah,
years ago, yeah.
that's
Yeah, I'm not
Mike could
sure.
tell that
I
story.
didn't see that. I didn't see that part
Oh,
of it, but
yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, rock star. But the one of my memories of Rocktoberfest was you said, "Hey Clay, um, tonight on stage, I just don't want you to get alarmed, but a girl's gonna tie me up on stage." I
well,
was gonna ask you what is
that
conjugal carnival?
that wasn't my fault.
Really? Because
There's a logical explanation. See,
all
back in
right,
those days, we're just kind of like, oh, we're doing these different things, and we had a bunch of different friends that had unique talents. Like we
yeah,
knew fire breathers and like pole dancers and S&M dominatrix and just a
yeah,
bunch of weird stuff. And are like, hey, let's just do a wild show. So we
yeah.
started doing doing these shows at the Hideaway,
That's right.
and I mean, it was awesome, but the problem is you can't really, it's kind of hard to sustain that with you have that many like
Yeah,
entertainers because it's a kind of a volatile situation sometimes. Like you go in backstage and it's just a little bit too much weird stuff for me.
yeah.
It was wild, but yeah, so I had that lady came out and she had her rope tricks and she would like
It was very
suspend herself.
PG-13. It was
It
very,
was.
it was
No
very
one
good.
got naked, but that's probably
No,
why they never invited us to come back.
yeah,
But at least
yeah.
at least we can tell the story now.
Actually, one time, I showed up after your event. You were at the Hideaway, the new Hideaway Club, and it was after one of the conjugal carnival, and you were like, "Hey, check this out," and I don't even want to repeat any of the stuff, but I had so much fun that night. It was just an
Hey,
after party, so oh my
you know
gosh, it
the
was awesome.
it was and I remember because I would tell people like in between we'd have like real strippers like in between the sets because then they'd make money and people could tip them, right? But when we're playing, we were videoing it, so we couldn't have them get naked. So I kept
Yeah,
telling everyone, don't take pictures in the intermission, right? And so I go backstage and sweat my ass off. We got done with the first set, and the pros go out and start dancing, and one of them comes in and says, "Hey, there's some lady out there, with the freaking camera, like videoing the whole thing." And I go out there, it was my manager. She's like filming the whole thing. But I'm like, okay, stop.
Speaking of your manager, I remember wasn't in 2000. Were you actually on Nami's record company? Did they
Yeah, I mean, I
produce
was
the
with them.
record for you?
Yeah, High Wave.
Well, High
Yep.
Wave is Monpachi, yeah, Mongol
Yeah.
800's record label.
Yeah, that was my
That's nice.
first
So
first
PM,
album.
I
Yeah.
know PM Agency, they were supporting you.
Yep.
They were, yeah. So that was pretty. So your first album was on High Wave Records. Wow,
Right.
that
Yeah.
is awesome. There's I think you and Mongol 800 and those guys were like super DIY. So
Those guys are, man, I still see those dudes around. They're always as
yeah,
cool as can be.
I'm
You know,
so
there's
happy
nice
because the
guys.
lead singer's fat. So I'm only
You
happy when people get fat.
right. You like to see the guys that were like really handsome and now they're fat
Yeah,
because they've
because
done so
if
well.
I'm getting fatter and balder, then I'd like to share that. So
Right. I think everyone should look like crap the older we get.
yes, thank you, for backing me. But yeah,
No.
so Nami and PM Agency, uh, you worked with them for your first album. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah. And you know, I saw them not too long ago on an airplane. We were going up to play. We were going to Los Angeles, and they were going to Las Vegas, and it was so crazy because the place that we played at in Los Angeles was Nami's friend from like high school, and they
Wow.
like knew each other. I'm like, I just saw them on the plane like 6 hours ago. So
Mm.
it's crazy how this small Okinawa world thing works, man. I mean, probably
Well,
the
they're
people that listen to
definitely
this
they're a
think
huge
the same
band
thing.
on Okinawa, so that must have been fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we used to play with them at the Hideaway Club. We got pictures of us and them playing, and then we played Peaceful, and then that was it. Those guys blew up. So,
Yeah, man. And like I said, they're as cool as can be even now. So
and you know what? Since then, I mean, you've played big shows on the island, and you've had a really good career, and you know, strong, especially on bass events too. I know you supported Toys for Tots for a long time. We used to. Uh, we used to go to events that you'd put on. You had us play a couple times. That was always fun. And you know, I remember once too, just not too long ago, you were playing the Butler O Club. I think you were playing St. Patty's Day, right? Or something like
yeah,
that. Maybe it was a
that was
unit
wild too.
function.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, you're like,
nuts.
Clay, come on, play. And we practiced a couple
Yeah, yeah,
Irish songs,
yeah.
and
We played
this guy came up and
what's
sang,
that song everybody in Boston likes? You
okay,
played.
shipping up to Boston,
Oh man, it just
and
completely ripped it down, and people went
drunken
crazy.
lullabies. So those were good
People were
songs.
throwing chairs through
Yeah.
windows. It was awesome.
What? They had to pay for it though. You
That's
know, it's
right.
on base. So. That's awesome. So yeah, so several times, you know, we did get to play same events. I remember we played. You remember Cadena Palooza? I think it was 2000 or um, it was time. We actually got blacklisted from playing on Cadena. The lady that ran the shilling for, I think she was a nun. I'm pretty sure. I swear she was a nun before, and then she left the nunnery, and because she was working for 18th services, and they set up Cadena Palooza, and we played, and we made too many innuendos. So I wasn't cursing
Dude,
or
if
not. I wasn't drinking.
well,
It just I made a bunch of innuendos, and so we
didn't
got blacklisted.
8 Ball like they go up there and rave just go nuts. He'd start dropping f bombs and stuff on
Yeah,
bass. Remember that?
mm,
So
yeah,
you guys were like the JV compared to that stuff. You weren't
yeah.
like that bad. Shouldn't have got
But
blacklisted for that. You've
I
done way
was
worse than
happy.
that.
I well I was happy because oh, my cat's running around here. Uh, because it kind of gave me like some cred. It's like, yeah, Clay, you know,
Street
Chuck Ball
cred.
got blacklisted
It's like getting
from
arrested.
Cadena. And then the next time Dennis went to play on bass, Dennis goes, Clay, we asked if you could play, but they said no. I said, tell them your friend's band. We had two names, Sofa King or Apocalypse Cow. I think Apocalypse
There you
Cow
go.
actually played at the Banyan Tree Club. We were Apocalypse Cow. That's not a bad band name,
That's a good name right there.
right?
I like that.
Sofa King is a little more
That's
innuendo-y,
yeah.
right?
Dude, you're bringing back some memories, man. I haven't thought about that stuff for a long time.
Hey, I don't know why, but somebody wanted to know. There's a question: boxers or briefs? I don't know who wrote that down, but
Oh, dude, it's the
somebody just
boxers all
wants
the
to
way.
boxers. Doug, you got your answer. It's boxers. So
Yeah, you can't do the other ones, man. Like your dad used to wear them whitey tighties. You can't do that.
Tell me about these rock stars that you know up in mainland, up in Tokyo. I know Clint said you hooked him up, and one of the rock stars up there that owns like 5,000
Oh yeah.
guitars decided
Well,
he needed more Clint Walker guitar. You
dude,
know,
what's
more.
crazy about that is actually he's the guy who saw me playing guitar when I didn't know what the hell was going on. He, for some reason, he knew a friend of a friend down here, and
Yeah,
he was the one that kind of told me, 20 however many years ago, hey, I think you could do something with this music. Anyway, fast forward, he plays with Ayumi Hamazaki and all these big, huge Madonna style rock and
yeah.
roll pop groups. So he owns like 300 and something guitars, and he's got books, and he's a legit rock star. Well, he bought well, I showed him one of my guitars. I'm like, hey, you want to see one of my friend's guitars? And so I showed it to him. I told him it's made out of all Okinawa wood. And since I knew I was going to be on the show, I prepped a little bit. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
similar to this one.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
the
cool, right?
Sugi. Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
see it behind me.
Oh yeah, you go
That's
right
the
there.
Clint Walker Sugi.
And the headstock, I just think it's cool. But so
Nice.
anyway, I let him play it, and he's like, "This thing's awesome." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Well, dude, play it." It was purple, and it weighed nothing. His guitar's always
Yeah,
shit, right?
it's
And
like a
so
cedar that Sugi would.
yeah, and I thought that he was, just gonna put it. He's got this vault that you go into. It's like, Get Smart for the old people.
Yeah.
You walk in there and it's right. The door's opening, and you go in this thing. He's got like, a warehouse full of guitars. Then he sends me some pictures. He's playing it on stage, like in
Oh
front of like
wow.
at the Budokan and the freaking whatever,
Oh
the
wow.
Nagoya Stadium, whatever. So I sent that shit to Clint, and he's like, "Dude, are you serious?" So he starts writing these articles about this guitar because everybody wants to know what it is. And then, so I tell Clint, because dude, I pimp Clint's guitars like it's cool because I
Oh
love
yeah.
him anyway, and they're great. And so usually what would happen is Clint would build me a guitar, and then someone would want to buy it. So I'd
So
sell it and
you're
give him the
making
money.
money.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I was
I
thinking, no,
should.
you could like
No, I
up the
can't do that.
price.
I can't. To someone else I would, but not him. So
Yeah, that's
I've
awesome.
had 4 or 5 of his guitars that people have bought, and then he recently sent him a polka dotted one. I think it was on your show. You saw
Yeah,
it,
I saw
and it's
that, man.
it's so cool, man. And it's nice to see, because you can tell how happy Clint is.
Yeah.
It's like when you make something, it's like making music. When people clap or
Oh
they like
yeah.
what you're doing,
Yeah, it's
it's
cool.
just there's nothing better than that.
I saw there's like not a Rolling Stone, but like a Japanese rock magazine. It was a video on YouTube of him setting up all of his guitars,
Oh
and they
yeah.
kind of fast forward it, and he was directing people where to put it, and then he has a picture of him finally in the magazine in front of all of them.
Oh yeah, and they're all
So,
over the
oh
floor, and it's
yes,
crazy.
on the floor in patterns and all behind him up 3 tier, 4 tiers. That was pretty cool. So, I know once in a while you post videos, you'd be just up in a music store and somebody'd hand you like a $15,000 guitar. You're
Well,
like,
yeah,
did like
and this
the
is with
Les Paul, the gold top.
so
You're like, yeah,
you
yeah,
if anybody's watching this, you remember when you go into a guitar store and there's always some asshole working there and won't let you touch anything,
yeah.
right? And that's just if you're wanting to touch, like, I remember being, a little kid or whatever and wanted to play that Eric Clapton signature guitar, and it was like $2,000 or something back in the old days. Well, imagine going into one of those places in Tokyo when they got like $300,000 Les Pauls in there, right? So
Oh
no
yeah.
one's gonna let you play them.
Wow.
So I go in there with my rock star friend, and he brings me in there and introduces me to the owner. Man, he just brings out this 59 Les Paul, right? A real one. I'm like, I really don't want to touch this thing because it costs more than my house, my parents' house. And so you sit down and start playing it. You're like, damn, that's pretty cool, but it's not worth 300 grand.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's been a fun time, over these years doing, dumb shit like that where you can just.
You were, I saw you playing Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah, we played. That was pretty cool. We played the Paul Reed Smith Experience
Yeah.
Paul Reed Smith, where we did that 2 years in a row, and they invited us because I got like a thing with them where they, I play their guitars. And so they invited me to come up there to play. And I played with my rock star friend one year. And then next year we just played with my band. And then Paul Reed, the actual PRS, got up on stage and
Nice.
played with us. And that was,
I heard he's good, right? I
that,
think I saw
yeah. And
some
he's
stuff.
just, and he's just, you can tell why he's successful because he's just like laser focused on things. And he's an awesome guy.
How long ago did you make the deal with PRS?
I've been doing stuff with them for like 5 or 6 years, I think.
Mm.
But Korg import division runs that, so they import all the Paul Reed Smith guitars, and so they've been really nice to me, and so they're good folks. They're nice.
I
to
was just
me.
curious. Do they? I mean, if you're playing another guitar, I mean, it's okay, right? It's just
Yeah. Well, I don't have like it's not like an exclusive
okay.
thing, but if you notice on my last 2 albums, I'm using their I'm
Yeah, I
playing
see
one of their
that.
guitars, so I don't
Yeah,
have a CD here I'd show you. But yeah,
yeah,
the one where I'm jumping like that, I'm
yeah,
using one of their guitars, and then the CD before that,
yeah.
because that's how it works,
Well,
man.
you make it sound good. I mean, some of those songs, it was a little hot, and your slide guitar playing just, I mean, it sounds good. So
Thank you.
I like it. What is the Okinawa Americana?
So Okinawa Americana started like what? See, even though when I was knowing you, I'd still kind of put that stuff into it. You probably seen that, so I'd always have like a Sanshin player or somebody that would kind of dabble in it. Because when you live here this long, you hear oboe, right?
Oh
Gang,
yeah,
gang, gong, gong. You're trying to sleep, and you're like,
yeah,
dude. But it just gets ingrained in your brain, right? So I started kind of messing around with it, and I put a couple songs on albums here and there over the years. And it wasn't until I met Mary, the girl who I'm playing with now, where she was like, I think this is really cool, and I didn't think anybody'd like it outside of here. And I didn't, I just kind of mess with it, but then when we actually changed the name from David Ralston to Okinawa Americana, dude, it was like mushroom
oh
cloud.
yeah. I mean,
We started
just
getting so much more stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
man, I've been doing this shit for 15
Uh,
years.
that the branding of it, and Mary's awesome, and her voice, and I don't know how you do it, but you somehow bring some folky blues stuff into that, and it just seems to work. So
I
I
think,
was
man, because
impressed.
she gets it. You know what I mean? She gets because if you play with somebody to play, you know how this is, right? You play with other people, and that could be great, but there's just like some kind of a weird thing that doesn't work. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
like everyone's got a different clock, right? Well, because blues stuff is kind of we're behind the beat a lot of times, but Okinawa music is right on the beat, right? So she can kind of weave her way in and out of that thing, and it just really works. So
And
it makes it
you
fun.
took that to the States, right?
Oh yeah. So we played. We just recently we've been to Nashville a few times, and and that's like I said, remember talking about before. You kind of figure out how good you are because people would come up to us and we'd be playing. The only place that really plays original music on Broadway is National Underground. I think they're still there, and we went in there to play, and people started coming in, and you could tell they weren't like tourists because tourists would be like, I want to hear some. I don't even know what or whatever that bro country shit is that everybody listens to that I don't get, right? But then
No.
the people that were coming in and they were just like, that's really cool. And I was like, oh, okay. And then just it kept going, and I met a lot of folks, and we've done some cool stuff, and been touring around,
Yeah.
and it seems to be working.
So do you do it just intimately with you and her, or full band
Oh
sometimes?
man, we
Or
do a full band. Like we do it just it's the same show that what you'd seen, except for what she's up there, and it's nuts. It just adds another thing because they're like, and that's what's cool about it is I guess they call it world music, but it's I call it world music that doesn't suck. But I stop people get mad at that. I don't care. But anyway, it's like because the people in the States, it's not so foreign that they can't get it because I'm
yeah,
doing my thing, right? But then they see her and they're like, well, that's kind of cool. Because Okinawa music makes people just
yeah.
everybody can
Plus,
kind of
somebody's playing a snake skin banjo. I mean,
yeah.
what
And
the heck is
and
that?
at that time she had an afro and she's wearing a kimono with cowboy
Yeah,
boots. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on?
yeah,
Are they from China or Vietnam? So it
yeah.
was
What?
It's a cool thing, man, to see the reaction to it all.
No, I'm sure it's playing well, especially in the States. And I mean, don't worry about that world music stuff, because the only people turn into world music because something's not classified correctly, and they want to see somebody blown into an gourd or something like that. But
Yeah, with a
uh,
violin and a guy
no,
playing a harp.
yes, it totally it jives together. So and it's fun. And again, the branding that you're doing with it is perfect. You know.
Well, thanks, man.
No, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was curious, what kind of acoustic guitar you're playing now? What's your main acoustic?
Man, okay, so you'll know this all too well too. In Okinawa, it's a little bit hard on acoustic instruments, right? Especially when you got to play outside and then go back inside.
Yeah.
The wood expands and shrinks. So I was playing at the what's that place out by Torrey Station, that Ali Villa
Oh
resort
yeah,
hotel from hell,
the hotel. I live
and
right up the street from it.
it was at least as hot as it was at Peaceful Love that day. So I'm playing outside by the pool, come back inside. I was playing, I can't remember what guitar it was, but I come back out to play and it goes like the fret had come up, like right,
Oh
and you're
no.
like, I can't play a G chord at all because it's just like. So I'm like, man, I got to do some research. So I came up with and decided to buy a Rain song because they're made out of carbon fiber, and I've been playing that Rain song for the only reason is just for reliability. And I
And it
really,
sounds good, right?
I learned to love it. I don't know if it's the best sounding guitar that I have, but I tell you what, it makes it a lot nicer when you don't have to worry about shit like that.
Yeah. What about
Reliability is good when you get old.
do you still have a dobro?
Oh yeah,
You're,
yeah. I
do,
got
you- do
I
you,
got a couple old ones around here somewhere. I got like an old 30. I got two old 30s, the steel ones. Yeah, one of them's got a big dent in it where the guy whoever owned it before probably hit somebody over the head with it back
yeah.
in the.
Like your album cover, if you jump
Yeah.
over the guitar. He jumped with the dobro.
Oh yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, that's a guitar. See, there's a dent in the thing right there. Whoever painted that thing, and I think someone got hit in the head with it. Someone painted that for me a long time ago.
Yeah, I like the sound, but I mean, I don't think anybody, unless you're like a slide player or something, or
Yeah,
Jimmy
well, they're
Page, should
hard to
own
play,
one.
man. The neck is like a baseball bat, like literally, you can't
Yeah.
really play anything else but slide on it. But they got their own thing. I mean, nothing sounds like that.
Well, listen, I've been talking to you for about 45 minutes almost, and the last couple interviews were 30 minutes. So
That's
I
because they're
think
not good
everybody's gonna be,
interviews.
they're like, yeah, dude,
So I'm
Ralston.
just kidding, dude. I was so happy to see Clint on there because he's awesome.
Wasn't that fun? Yeah,
Oh, it was fun, and hearing all and just remembering all these things, like you're bringing up all these memories, and thank God they're good ones. I got enough bad ones that I'm trying to forget, but the good ones, man, it's nice to catch up with old guys like us.
well, now you're an old guy, huh?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man.
tell George you said that. He'll be
Oh well,
happy.
dude. See, George, that's a different kind of old right there. That's like Joe Biden old. That's like he don't even know where he's at old. What? What are you? Huh? That's. I'm
Oh,
kidding, man.
I one more thing I forgot to ask you about your amp.
Which
I mean,
amp,
you probably have a bunch of different amps, but what do you like?
dude? I'll tell you what. I was ready for you on this. You're not even gonna believe this. See, so back here, right? I got this Dr. Z, right?
Uh-huh.
Really cool. I got Matchless, some other stuff. But you know what I'm playing now? This thing right here.
That's not an amplifier.
It weighs 4 pounds.
What
It
is
weighs
it?
4 pounds. It's solid state. Let me see if I can get this thing to work here. It's called a quilter, right? And I actually paid for this with my own money. So my friend's like, yeah, man, you need to try quilter amps. Check this out. I'm gonna play Clint's guitar for you. This thing, you'll never even believe that this thing's solid state, right?
Sounds good.
Dude, that thing's
That
solid
sounds
state,
good.
man.
How many watts is that?
200.
No, wait a
Dude,
minute.
I'm
That's a
not even
little
joking,
bitty
dude.
thing.
It sounds like that, and it's on 2 watts right now, right? So if you turn it up, right, I'm gonna turn up to 10 watts. So it
Wow.
sounds like that no matter what you do to it.
Look how tiny it is.
You can put it in your backpack, man. And it's
Holy
like
crap.
it was like $300 and something. I'm like, hey, I don't
What?
got to worry about using a piece of crap backline amp. You know, when I play again somewhere like you go to
You just
mainland or
need
whatever.
somebody to have a cabinet.
You
where
say
to
I have
show
a
up.
cabinet. I mean, and I tried to do the worst cabinet I could find, and it sounds awesome. And it's the Overdrive 200 from Quilter.
You
Freaking
heard it from Dave
awesome.
Ralston. The
You're
Overdrive
hearing it.
200 from Quilter.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm serious. It blew my mind. But I got a bunch
What's
of old
the
amps that I don't
what's
use. But
the Z amp? What was that?
that's just a Dr. Z prescription, extra strength prescription. That's what's called. It's like a 40-watt, kind of like an AC30 thing. And I just got one from my good friends up in mainland that do all the Paul Reed Smith. They sent me a Black Star Artesian. So those are pretty cool. But it weighs like 900 pounds. So I'm going to have to hire somebody to carry it for me because I'm too old for that. But
Do you, when you play your acoustic, do you play through an amp or just into the PA? And do you have some type of effect that you put it into it, or a belt
mostly,
board? Or?
mostly I'll use a. Have you seen the Fishman Aura pedals? They kind of like to do an emulation of a microphone thing. So I'll use one of those, usually straight into the PA. But yeah, I try to do as little as possible. I mean, I got way too much crap, and I'm trying to get rid of it. You know how that goes. You're just like, oh, I'll probably use that, even though you haven't used it for 15 years. You might use that again. So I still got just tons of shit I'm trying to.
I know how you feel.
Out.
I got a ton
terrible
of stuff. My stuff.
First world problems, right?
That's right. Well, sorry for all this corona virus and all this crap. It really puts a damper on the live industry here in Okinawa. So,
but you know what, man? Doing stuff like what you're doing, and we do our show on every Sunday, and just keep doing this stuff, man. It helps. Trust me, because there's a lot of people that love your guys' music that's been here, for, even if it's 15, 20 years ago, they still remember, and they got a nice thing in their brain. It's like, oh man, that was cool when Clay was. Remember that when they played that thing and then naked people down at the beach? See?
Yeah. That last song that we recorded, that was the first time I put out new music in a while. So
it was fun. On it, man.
Yeah,
keep going
a little bit. All this together apart stuff.
Yeah.
So
thanks for having me on, man. It's been a good time.
Thank you, Dave. I do appreciate it. And,
no, man, we got to go eat lunch and go tell the real side of these stories, not the
I know.
Nice
I felt a little weary about a couple of the stories. But that's nice. That's rock star stuff.
Yeah, man.
Well,
hopefully this records. We don't have to do the whole thing over again, because I'll forget.
Yeah, this will be the third time. So, all right. So do a pause face as I stop this recording. Thank you, Dave Ralston.